Hi, a very good afternoon. May I know you're able to hear me? If you are able to hear me, please respond in the comment that you can hear me. Okay, a very good afternoon to our viewers. Thank you for watching our interviewing sessions with our speakers for the 2021 Jing Wealth Summit by Ivann Choong Metaphysics Private Limited. This summit is on 26 and 27 December, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. virtual on Zoom. The registration link is www.2021yijingwealth.com/sign up. I repeat, www.2021yijingwealthsummit.com/sign up. Please like and share this session live, and we will have 2 tickets to give away. Please share and like the session and mention done in the comments. The 2 free VIP tickets consist of the 2 days summit access, your 八字 chart, your mobile number divination chart, 30 days limited replay of the 2-day summit, usual price $231. Drawing of the 2 winners will be at the last of our session. Please stay with us till the end. This afternoon, we will have our invited speaker, Glenn and teacher Ivann, to join our interview session. Glenn will have his speech on day 1 of the summit with the topic on harnessness, the power of your subconscious mind for exponential propulsion in 2021. Teacher Ivann, day 1 speech topic under the Discover section is 2021 2021 effect on you based on your 八字 and Chinese horoscope and withdrawal cash from bank. Our speakers' profile are within the registration page when you sign up. We will now invite our speakers to come on board to have a session with us. Please welcome Glenn and teacher Ivann. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, afternoon everyone.
Hi.
Hello Glenn. Hello.
Can you guys hear me? Is this audible?
Hear you?
Yes.
Is this audible? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, audible.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, good afternoon to Glenn and teacher Ivann. Thank you for your time to be in this interview. We will have Glenn to start with the interview. Glenn, can you share with us about yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. Sorry, I'm right now in my other office and it's a bit more open. But first and foremost, I just want to thank Ivan, Vanessa, and the team for inviting me for your what I heard first summit, right, that you're putting it together, and I am truly honored. In fact, I'm of the opinion that such summits and learning and development is probably one of the most crucial endeavors and investment that any individual should make, especially such times, right? I have been in the personal development space for quite a number of years. In fact, the last 15 and 20 years, I started out as a counselor, as a coach, and then I realized that most of the practices, particularly in PD, personal development as well as mindset shift and recalibration, these are subject matters that are very close to my heart. Needed some kind of scientific backing. So today I practice what I call evidence-based practices. I think it's very important that all our practices need to be backed by some kind of empirical literature. So today I kind of advise and also audit trainers, audit counselors and coaches who are in this field of people helping to be a bit more scientifically grounded as well as explore new terrains to help people become better at what they do and who they become. Yeah,
Wow,
so in a nutshell, that's what I do. Yeah. I must add though that of this of the whole overview of personal development and human potential, I am very much interested and passionate about energy. So I'm also an accredited energy psychologist. It took me about 3 to 4 years to get my accreditation, but I kind of fuse and integrate all that kind of work to my psychological training. And I realized that, like it or not, believe it or not, we are all exuding energy, right? Vibrations all around. And that's why this is something that I kind of find some kind of resonance with you guys in the feng shui arena. I'm not a practitioner in feng shui, but I see a lot of value and also a lot of synergy in that area. So that's why one of my key interests is in energy psychology, particularly the way we emit and also absorb energy.
Thank you. I'm very exciting over this. And during the summit, I will learn more from you. How about my second question to you is, what is the content that you will be sharing in our summit session?
Yeah, so it's a long title. I think it was submitted some months ago. It's called Harnessing the Power of Your Subconscious Mind for Exponential Propulsion in 2021. I think we need to end this year on a high, with hope and with high spirits. It really doesn't matter what kind of environment we've been exposed to, what kind of, I would dare say, challenges and crisis that happens to us. I think what's important is that we dig deep within ourselves to find the internal resources, and we each one of us have that. It's just that we need the knowledge, we need to identify and discover it, and then utilize it. And whenever we talk about inner resources, I think one thing comes to mind, and that is our mind, right? Some people call it mindset, belief systems, all that kind of thing. Actually, when you talk about, when you view it from a psychological perspective, it's really your subconscious. The untapped potential is all uh, in your unconscious or your subconscious. So we always liken it to the metaphor of a iceberg, right? What is seen usually is the 10% outward visible aspects like your skills, your knowledge, etc. But what is deep inside is the 90%. And what is not seen, what is not aware, you're not aware of, you can't use, you can't utilize, right? So why don't we end of this year by identifying, discovering, and then drawing it out, harnessing that potential. So that's what we call the subconscious potential that each one of us have. It's just that we are not aware of it, and then begin to understand how our past reflects in the way we behave and predictively projects our future as well. But if you look at it energetically and from the perspective of psychology, you can actually calibrate that so that you leverage on your subconscious, make it work with and for you, and therefore exponentially, position you for a desirable outcome in 2021.
Thank you, Glenn. My last question for you is: would you like to share with us your life experience or journey that we can learn from you?
Sure, I'll be happy to. In fact, I'll be covering a little bit of that because a lot of people say, hey, Glenn, you're just giving us knowledge and is it just another info download session? That's not true. I think it needs to be backed up by real, that's why I say empirical, right? Evidence. And I have actually, all my practice today is informed based on my usage and my journey of my own personal transformation. Many people don't really know where I come from, and I seldom share that. But obviously, at this summit, I will do all of us a favor and share that juicy bits. I came from a very broken family, very disadvantaged background, and if you do some research on me, if you read me up, for example, you will notice that I came on the news for all the wrong reasons. Actually, more than 20 years ago, I was actually arrested for drug trafficking. My whole teenage life was very downhill, slippery slope to destruction, actually. And I'm not supposed to be where I am today. But what got me interested in the mind and human potential and human excellence is really when I started to turn around and started to, in quote unquote, wake up. You see, we only have one life, right? And not many people understand that concept of one life. Should I enjoy myself? So they come up with terms like YOLO, you only live once, which is quite fancy, quite sexy for to me, a poor excuse for living your life irresponsibly. But for me, I took it seriously when things started to turn around for me. And I said, "Oh, yeah, I wasted so much of my teenagehood. And I really want to make my one life count. How do I do it? How do I live out my life of potential?" So that was a turnaround for me. Then years later, I look back and I said, how did I come out of that? I started my journey of restoration, of healing, and then now of contribution. Because I serve and volunteer at prisons and I work with charities to help ex-offenders turn around, right? And I said, if I can develop a science around it, or at least discover a pattern of success for all these, based on my own journey, I can actually replicate and help other people as well who are in the same boat as I was before. We can change. In fact, the human species is the only species created by God that has the power to redefine and redetermine their destiny. No other living species can. No other created being like the plant or the animal, they cannot say, hey, I'm sick of this life, I want to change it, I want to live my potential. Cannot. But human beings can. So no matter what state you're at, no matter what kind of circumstances or challenges, every one of us have that potential to redefine and to repurpose even your pain. And that is my lifelong mission and message.
Glenn, this is a very encouraging one. Thank you, Glenn, to share with us. And please stay on as we will have questions later for both speakers. And viewers who have questions for Glenn, please do comment, list down at the comment, and we will actually read it out at before the end of the session. So next, we will invite our teacher Ivann. Teacher Ivann, we shall start with your topic on 八字. So, teacher Ivann, is 八字 fated or fixed destiny of a person?
Thanks, Glenn, for sharing. I think Glenn, in terms of the energy psychology, really align with I Ching Chinese metaphysics, because end of the day, everyone is made out of energy. So for 八字 wise, some people say 八字 is fixed, some people say it's not fixed. So it depends on you. End of the day, 八字 is talking about fate. So I will always tell my student and client that fate is always a fix, because you cannot change who is your parents. You cannot change your gender. You cannot change some of the things that you're born with it. But there's also things that you can change. Example, how you live your life, what kind of profession you want, how you want to end your life, and many, many more. So all of this combined together, this is not just a fate, it's a destiny, which is a combination of fate and luck. So in 八字, we can talk about your destiny, not just your fate. So I hope that answers the questions.
Sure. Thank you, teacher Ivann. My second question is 八字 combined to read with the annum luck and decade luck to give a more complex decode. ICM has named this service as 八字 Life Analyst. How does this goes about?
How does this go about? Some people say that it's easy to understand by using just a Chinese horoscope, example, dogs, ox, etc. I think that's the most easiest to understand one. So the more easier one is, some people will say that if you have offended the grandeur of the year, grandeur is 太岁 lah. Okay, example, is punishment or clash or whatever, then you just need to go do some praying and then you'll be fixed. But end of the day, is life so simple to solve? Is problem so simple to solve? We must understand one thing. Life is always not easy, not simple. If you think that life is simple, then you could be thinking the wrong way. So using annum luck, usually we will not be using Chinese horoscope. Chinese horoscope is only the year pillar. If you talk about 八字, 八字 is actually in Chinese is 8 character. So 8 character split into 4 pillar, and Chinese horoscope is only the first pillar, which is the year pillar. Okay, and if you just use the Chinese horoscope itself, it's only like 5% or 10% of your whole luck for the year. So if you combine that, it's only like 5 to 10% of the year of your luck of that year. So usually if we use to look at someone's annum luck, example ox here, we will be using the whole 4 pillar instead of just the Chinese horoscope. So if we use the whole 4 pillar, the one that we focus on will not be your Chinese horoscope. It will be your day master, which is the day you're born in. I hope that answers.
Sure. Teacher Ivan, my last question. Two person having the same birthday and time, but born in different countries or contingents. Why their lives are not alike, and how are we able to see from the chart? And continuing a question is, twins and triplet 八字, are their fate the same?
This is a very good question. We usually have it. I usually have it during the class, and I find it very funny. How come Vanessa every time interview you give me such a difficult question? Okay. First of all, I answer the different same day, same 八字 or whatever, but different environment. So in Chinese metaphysics or in I Ching aspect, we don't just talk about heaven itself. 八字 is just comprised of the heaven, which is what we call pre-heaven, which is you're born with it. So in I Ching, we talk about the heaven, earth, and the people. Okay, the 3 realms. So environment is part of the earth realms. So if your fate is only 40%, the earth and people realm will each comprise of 30%, which comprise of 100% of your destiny. So that explains why some people with the same day, same hour born, but in different country, they will have different destiny. It's because different environment makes them behave differently. Just like in Africa, you can't be a Chinese who is born in Africa, and if you're not a Chinese family, right? Or even if you're a Chinese family, you're born in Africa, you will not be speaking Mandarin or English. You'll be speaking on their native language. This is the change. This is the destiny, what we call. So in terms of twins wise, why is it different? Okay. When we talk about twins, end of the day, if it's only 1 to 2 seconds away, but the difference is 1 to 2 seconds is still a difference. But in that case, how do we look into 八字 and determine why the definition, why the life destiny is different? In that case, we will add in the I Ching 8 trigram. We're using the 8 trigram representation to decode on each individual example, even if it's the first is twins, maybe 2 twins brother. One is the first son, one is the elder son. So we add in the trigrams representation to further decode a person's destiny. Like I said before, 八字 is only talking about pre-heaven, but we still have post-heaven. That's why in our I Ching Chinese Metaphysics Academy, we teach all the heaven, people, and earth realms, not just one, because one is not sufficient. 八字 itself is just one school of Chinese metaphysics. It's not the entire thing. Back to you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Teacher Ivan. So if you all have any questions for Teacher Ivan, please actually text into the comment. I'll read it out before the end of the session. Okay, now I shall have my questions to the both speakers to answer on. DOC Methodology is created by Teacher Ivan, and the 2-day summit, we will have topics related to discover, understand, and control. Today, our 2 panel speakers will speak about discover segment. So what is the word discover means to you? Maybe Glenn, you can start first.
Yeah, in personal development, one of the key tenets is on self-discovery, right? After all, we're all on a journey. On a journey doing what? On a journey, I usually call that journey a pilgrimage of inward soul searching, right? Many of us want to discover things outside, but there's so much that we are so unaware of. So discovery has got to do with identifying earlier on I talked about the iceberg concept, when 90% of what you're unaware of, I know it's a bit confusing. If you begin to surface this, you begin to realize that, wow, inside each one of us lies exponential, unlimited resources. And that's why the way we believe, the way we view, have our worldviews, our perspectives in lives, all shape and predict the outcomes and the outward behaviors, and ultimately your results. So discovery is simply that, start to do some inner reflection. I mean, mindfulness is a great practice, meditation. These things actually help refocus our focal lens inwardly, and then begin to identify and discover our innate resources.
Thank you. So I'll put this question same to teacher Ivan. So what is the word discover means to you, teacher Ivan?
Discover. So end of the day, discover is all about how you find out about your inner. Okay. So a lot of people, they look too much into their external factors. Example, their appearance. Are they good looking or not good looking? Are they beautiful or not? Are they rich or not? How does they dress? How does they behave? What car are they driving? What house are they living? So these are all external factors. End of the day, what is your inner? What is your inner strength? What is your inner weakness? So our discover topic is talking about, for mine, the discover topic is talking about the strengths and weaknesses of a person. Everyone is born with a strength and weaknesses. This is also the I Ching Yin and Yang. So you have strength, definitely you have weaknesses. So if you have fear, definitely you have courageous. So we let people discover their strength so that they can use their strength to overcome their weaknesses. This is also because a lot of people, they are always constantly in fear. Things that they don't understand, they have in fear. Things that they do not want to know, they have in fear. Things that they are strange to, they have fear. But end of the day, once they discover, they will have the courage to overcome them, because once they discover, they know why is this all happening, why they are expecting all these things. So with their strength, they will be able to overcome their fear as well. So this is about our discovering factor.
Thank you, teacher Ivan. Okay, my second question is to Glenn. Do you think discovering the problem makes better problem solving to it?
Good question. Do I think discovering the problem makes for better problem solving? I think discovering the problem is the first step. So in psychology, we call this the seed of your awareness. Because what you're not aware of, you cannot acknowledge, and what you cannot acknowledge, you cannot address and work on it. Yeah. So discovering is just one step. Well, it's some people call it half the battle won. Because can you imagine if you're not even aware whether it's your strength or weakness, or whether you have past developmental issues, childhood trauma, hurt that needs to be reconciled or healed. Yeah. So surfacing that is the first step. However, most of the things that we have somehow, our human psyche is so powerful. It's very clever as well, because it numbs pain, it suppresses hurt and wounds, because we cannot live in that state, negative state for too long, right? We need to continue our functions. So the subconscious actually buries some of these negative memories, and the moment you start surfacing them or resurfacing these traumatic memories, the pain and the emotion actually becomes quite unbearable, and we tend to run away from it. So that's why we've got different coping mechanisms. Some of us go into denial mode, some of us bury ourselves in work, or go into avoidance. So when we become aware of it, the next step is to really address it in a way that sometimes we have to revisit our past. I got a philosophy and principle when working with clients, and that is, if you can't feel, you can't heal. If you can't feel it again, you can't heal. And feeling it all over again simply means revisiting that pain, but you can actually repurpose your pain. It's not real anymore, so to speak, because it's been many, many years ago, but revisiting it and then making peace with your past actually help propels you to a brighter, more positive future. So I have another principle that I use as well, which is a narrative theory. All of us are like books, right? The way you close one chapter of your life determines how you open up the next. The problem with many of us is that we bury our pain, we refuse to address it, we go into denial, avoidance, all those kind of things, and we live with shame because it's buried underneath it, and guilt. And therefore, we carry these baggages into our new chapters. So in a way, we are a bit dysfunctional. And that's why people get stuck. We have dysfunctional patterns, and they are repeated over and over and over again. I call myself a breakthrough psychologist because I love helping people get unstuck and break through. And once you have that, I tell you, new opportunities start flowing into your life. I mean, talk about energy, right? You all of a sudden you feel energized, you're in harmony, you're balanced, and that's how we begin to attain the kind of results that we've always dreamed about and desired, but never getting it because of our past that blocks us. We call this self-sabotage. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to reserve all this for the summit. Okay?
Sure. Thank you, Glenn. Okay, Teacher Ivann, how do you think discovering the problem actually makes better problem solving to it?
End of the day, if you don't face the problem, you may think that there's no problem. Just like when your house is dusty or full of dirt, do you just swipe it inside the carpet? End of the day, you may be seem as it's gone for now, but once it's accumulated to a extreme or to a limit, what will happen? Have you heard about dust explosion? It could happen that way. But of course, in human, we don't have dust explosion, but we have disaster explosion. We have volcano explosion. So it could be a person's emotion. A lot of things you may have noticed, but you hide it inside your heart. You hide it inside your inner. And you do not want to face it. You know it, but you do not want to face it. End of the day, there'll be one day when you will break down. That is why a lot of people go into depression. That is why a lot of people, they start to do a lot of things that harm themselves. Why? From the harm itself, the pain itself, they feel that they are relieved. But that is just a physical pain. How about the mind pain? Discovery is all talking about the mind. How we discover using our mind. How we overcome things with our mind. So, end of the day, conclusion is, no matter what we are trying to avoid, okay, avoiding will not be eternity. One day, you have to face it. You can run, but you can't hide. Back to you, Vanessa.
Okay, thank you both speakers for sharing their own views on Discover. If you have questions for both speakers, please do actually leave down at the comments and I will read it out later. So, Teacher Ivann, would you like to say something about the withdrawal something, or you would like to leave it for the next wealth preview? The withdrawal,
Sorry?
the withdrawal cash for Chinese New Year. Would you like to keep it for the next preview at the next wealth preview?
Maybe I just give a bit of sneak preview on what
Sure.
is this withdrawal thing. Okay, the withdrawal end of day is seems to be a very simple ritual, but actually is with a lot of meaningful activation. End of day, what is this withdrawal? It's talking about withdrawal your money from the bank itself after Chinese New Year. Okay, that means it's after the New Year lah, for the Chinese New Year. So end of the day, the purpose is to get the luck from the bank. Okay, so a lot of people always, a lot of geomancy or masters always have to tell the people to Chinese New Year go and bang in your money so that the money for this year will be very good. Okay, but let's think about it. When you got money, do you give it to people or do you take the money from people? Growing up. Of course, there's people who say we have money, we share. Correct. But the problem is, if your pocket is empty, how do you share? You must first make your pocket full of money, then you can share with others. Otherwise, you can't even survive. How can you still go and share with other people? Sharing is caring, but not caring to yourself is not advisable. So this is the withdrawal of money is going to be one of the topic in day one. We'll be talking about it.
Okay, because to me, when I heard of this, actually the depositing money into the bank is about 1 decade story, meaning that it was like only popular 10 years ago. So at then my mindset is, why would we deposit our luck to the bank and make the bank richer? That is what I think of in the earlier, before I get to know what is Chinese metaphysics and all that. To me, with the simple basic mind knowledge is, why should the bank is richer than us, and why should we at this very miserable 2 hours, or sometimes even because a lot of them would say that depositing money, and they prefer it at the counter and not at the teller, and not really on the ATM machine. So people would have to, like, if I were to queue at this hour, because I did that before with the very stupid so-called stupidish things that I do. So I check the timing that I have to deposit the money, which is like 3 p.m. So the bank would close at 4:30. So the timing of 3:01 to 4:45 is my deposit time to the bank, which is at then the bank is the most crowded scenario during that was before the any of this pandemic lah. So I would say that, like, do I have to go at 1 o'clock to queue the number? I actually did that. It's like 1:30 I went to the bank. So it's about 2:45. My number is called. So I'm actually searching for people who is having 5 or 6 numbers later than me. Then I say, hey, I still waiting for someone, but I did not tell them that it's because of bank deposit lah. I'm waiting for someone. Do you mind I exchange the number with you, that you can go quicker, and I take your number for the later? So I find this is a very hassle things to do. And end of the day, I'm giving my luck to the bank. That was what I think of being so-called deposit. So when I that was in 2018 that I heard from you on one of the this well, I think it's also Facebook Live. You're talking about this withdrawal. I mean, they say, withdrawal. Why is it withdrawal? And I do not need to rush in terms of depositing. So I say, withdrawal. And when you actually told me is about withdrawal, you actually try to receive the luck from the bank, because you're taking the money, although it's your own money, but it's taken out from the bank. So you are trying to receive good luck, I mean the wealth luck from the bank, which I think this is a bit more practical. So I did that, and for this I have been done for 2 years lah. So I feel that the money that you have told me to keep and use and so-called contribute, because you did tell us that we also must share out. So the money that we actually collected, kept, and contribute did make me feel better. I wouldn't say will it bring me good luck for 40s or not, or those type, but it's not. But it's just that the feel of the energy makes me feel better. So do we have any more so-called questions for our speakers? Or Teacher Ivann, would you like to share more about your summit tickets or any other infos? Or you actually like to tell us that you actually do have a wealth preview summit on the 20th December? Would you like to share this to us?
Oh, yeah. So we are planning to have another pre-summit interview on this Sunday. Okay. We will announce shortly, but the day will be on this Sunday. So this summit will be talking about wealth. So it's just one word, wealth. So if you're interested to know what is the wealth topic that we're going to talk in the summit, you can come and join. We'll give you some sneak preview. But before we end, I think Glenn is also very familiar with all this energy kind of thing. So I would also like to, because just now we talk about this withdrawal money kind of this topic, but Glenn was neglected. So I think we should ask Glenn to talk about it. Glenn, did you deposit money during Chinese New Year?
Yeah, deposit every other time.
No, I mean
As much as possible.
especially after Chinese New Year. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
especially, yeah.
That means they will give
not that much
some master.
lah.
They will give you the auspicious date, then you go and deposit money. Do you do that?
Yeah. I heard about those things, but not so much now because the last 10, well, I withdraw much more money now during Chinese New Year, right? Because we got the gift lah, more and more nieces and nephews coming up, popping up. So the pattern has somewhat changed already. But I'm very interested on the topic because when you say withdraw money, I was thinking, wow, I've got to sit in for this, man. I also want to withdraw.
Yeah. So because you are also an expert in all this energy, so at end of the day, the energy initially before I started this withdrawal money thing, I also deposit the money. But end of the day, I feel that every year I deposit money, the more money I deposit, the more money will be deposited to others people's pocket. So this is really a flow of energy. So I think a lot of people will experience this as well. Of course, I wouldn't say that everyone is this way, but I would think that most of the people is this way. Just like in stock and shares, it won't be everyone who is winning. It won't be everyone. It's just like some people, they go buy 40, then one of the few 100,000 people will get it. So do you want to be that 1% or do you want to be the majority? So this is the topic of the withdrawal. Okay, so I think if there's no questions, I won't be doing the introduction of our ticket since we have did it on the day one. So if the audience is interested, you will just go and look at the first day video. So if there's no question on the board, then maybe we can end it already. Vanessa, is there any question else for us?
No, my question. Yeah, that's the end. I have no questions for it. Okay, this is the end of our session today, and a good day to you all and a good afternoon.
Glenn, do you have any closing?
Yeah, maybe I just end off by saying, it's been a rough year, and I'm sure many of us, are left wondering what to look out for in 2021. Let's all come together and make the best out of this closing year. I think this summit is very timely to hear and to discover new areas that were previously unknown, we are unaware of. And then use all these resources because after all, they are God-given, and start forming a new roadmap for 2021. I'm excited. Thank you for inviting, and I'm sure all of us would do well if we were to come on board this and start carving a new pathway for ourselves.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Ivann, to wrap up.
Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Vanessa. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.